Hi Scorpio, and welcome to your horoscope for December 2024. Thanks for joining me. My horoscopes are based on the UK time zone, so please take that into account and watch them in this order: rising sign first, then sun sign, and then your moon sign. So I'm going to break December down into 4 weeks, and I'm going to pay attention to how the moon moves through your chart and which houses it sits in, so you know where you're supported and on what days. Okay, so in the first week, week 1, Sunday the 1st of December to Sunday the 8th of December. On the 1st and 2nd, we have the moon in Sagittarius, and that's in your second house of money. So any plans that you want to make as far as your income is concerned. So anything like, in 2025, I want to earn a certain number and get really specific and write that down. Or in future, I want my work to enable me to do A, B, and C. So for instance, I want my career to give me independence so I can buy a home, or I want to, again, make a certain amount of money to give me certain freedoms in life. The first 2 days of December are really great for you to kind of journal or jot down your thoughts on that. And particularly today, on the 1st of December, we have a new moon in Sagittarius. So that's when this is most accessible to you, because the new moon pulls in a ton of energy. And Sagittarius is about the adventurer and the explorer. And the new moon sits in your second house of money, and it opposes Jupiter, the lucky planet, in your 8th house of institutions and authorities. So it's not just good for, making plans for your finances, but it's also a great opportunity to pick up the phone and to start working with people who you want to work with. So to reach out and to create new revenue streams and sources of income. First 2 days of December are brilliant in that regard for you. Then on the 3rd and 4th, the moon moves on and goes into Capricorn in your 3rd house of communication. And again, you're willing to do all the work, to write the CV, to do the applications, to even do things like to speak to the lawyers or the accountants or the tax people. And you're really willing to make sense of things. You have patience, you have calm, and you're willing to give that a lot of your time and attention so that things are in order and you feel like you're on top of all the different circumstances in your life. So, even if you have people in your life that take care of certain things, like for instance, your partner does the bills and you do something else, and you feel like, I want that to change. I want to become more informed on the practicals of my life. 3rd and 4th are excellent to do the work and to become very, very informed. It moves on then, and the moon goes into Aquarius on the 5th, 6th, and 7th, and it joins Pluto in Aquarius, and that's also in your 4th house. So these 3 days are very good when it comes to your family relationships, because you're going to be very charitable and forgiving, and you're able to express yourself in a gentle and loving way, and you're very considerate of your contribution and how that may affect another person. 3 wonderful days to spend with family, even if you have difficult relationships with certain family members. You could even resolve certain conflicts or issues, but you definitely can get to a place of resolution. And the key is, again, this patience and calm and consideration you've got. Wow, Scorpio, so you start this month on a really good note where you're very tapped into lots of different areas of your life. On the 6th, Mars, the planet of masculinity and drive, that goes retrograde until the 23rd of February next year. So with the personal planets, the retrogrades are important. When Mercury retrogrades, communication becomes more stifled. When Venus goes retrograde, love is less clear. When Mars retrogrades, your levels of energy or your ability to focus or to set goals for the future may ease off a little. And you may feel that, do you know what? I want to calm down a little bit. I want to take it easy. So remember, the beginning of the month is so good for you to make these new connections with companies, the authorities, organizations. Mars retrogrades in your 10th house of work. So try and do as much as you can on the 1st, and the 2nd, today and tomorrow, because that's not going to be as important to you as the month moves on. On the 7th, Venus, the feminine principle, that ingresses out of Capricorn and it moves into Aquarius, and it goes into your 4th house as well, where it sits with Jupiter, not Jupiter, with Pluto in Aquarius. So from now on, the focus is off career and off work and making plans, and it's very much on the family. So that really sets you up nicely for the holidays that are coming up later in the month, because you really do come across as very loving and you have a very genuine care for the experience of other people. Also on the 7th, Neptune, the outer planet and the higher octave of Venus, that goes direct until the 4th of July 2025. So with the outer planets, the retrogrades aren't as significant because they spend about 6 months of the year in retrograde, right? So when Neptune goes direct, and in your case, it's in Pisces in your 5th house of what you love and what you love in other people and what you love to do as far as your life purpose is concerned. And with it moving forwards now, you'll notice that from the 7th of December until the 4th of July, there are a lot more opportunities for love and to do what you really enjoy, to find a new hobby, to meet new people. So that bodes really nicely for you. Then on the 8th, the moon goes into Pisces and it joins Saturn and Neptune in that 5th house. So that's a great day for love, romance, new relationships. It's a great time to go on dates. I know I'm going into the 2nd week, but the moon also stays in Pisces on the 9th. So those 2 days are wonderful for any of those parts of your life. And on the 8th, the moon reaches its 2nd quarter. So it's waxing, it's getting bigger on its way to becoming a full moon on the 15th. So there's a sense of it's all about my interpersonal connections now. It's all about love. I'm not so interested in what is, I'm interested in what could be and how I could feel as a result of that. Okay, so in the first 8 days, the moon starts in your 2nd and then ends in your 5th. So it's really all about your roots and what makes you feel like you're secure and loved and safe and home in your life, and what you can do to make that more consistent, and how can you strengthen the ties, existing ties, but also how can I connect to people I don't know yet. Week 2, Monday, the 9th of December to Sunday, the 15th of December. Again, on the 9th, the moon is still in Pisces, so still love. Then on the 10th and 11th, it goes into Aries, and it moves into your 6th house of daily routine, structure, and even your physical health. So that's really great for physical activity. It's great for physical healing, but also it's the confidence to say, if there's any aspect of my life where I don't have any freedom or I feel disempowered, what can I do about that to resolve the issue, to feel better, to feel like I have more agency in my life? So that could show up in a million different ways, but really, if any of those themes appear to you, pay a lot of attention, and something that feels like a wound right now can be healed. On the 12th and 13th, then, the moon goes into Taurus and it joins Uranus, the planet of the miraculous and the chaotic and the unexpected. That's also in Taurus in your 7th. And these 2 days now, it's really likely that you meet someone that has a huge, that creates a huge emotional response in you, a positive response. And it's likely to signal the beginning of a new, meaningful relationship. So Scorpio, if you're single and looking, December looks really good for you in that regard. On the 14th and 15th, then, the moon goes into Gemini and joins the lucky planet Jupiter, also in Gemini, in your 8th house. Wow, okay. So that's great too. That's good luck as it relates to your relationships, to officialdom, to governing bodies, to the authorities. And Gemini is communication, problem solving, and Jupiter is good luck. So if any of those kind of formal relationships need tweaking or improving, apply yourself to that on the 14th and 15th, and you'll be able to lighten the load significantly. That's particularly true for the 15th of December, when we have a full moon in Gemini. So the moon reaches its completion point, it showers you with Gemini energy, which is ruled by Mercury, the communication planet, right? So I said officialdom, but also anything that requires problem solving in your life. Look at it on the 14th and 15th and expect a really happy outcome. What underlines that even more is that the ruler of Gemini, Mercury, goes direct on the 15th of December. It's been retrograde since the 25th of November. So any issues you've had with communication or transportation, expect those to ease off now. But Mercury is also in your second house of money and securities. So you'll really know what you want to do, what you want to change, as far as your level of finance is concerned. And what I mean by that is, some people are comfortable if they have a certain amount of money. Other people would see that as, oh no, I need a safety net. And even other people may have totally different standards when it comes to their own finances and what creates and causes financial insecurity for them. So if you have any issues in that area, problem solve that now, and you'll either get the sense of, you'll pinpoint this is what needs to change, or this is what I can do on top of what I'm already doing to create more abundance and financial freedom. So in the second week, the moon starts. Sorry, I'm just like tapping myself so I don't like belch on camera. How unpleasant. It starts in your 5th and it ends in your 8th. Okay, so that's the very right hand side of your chart. So the first part is really, what do I love to do and how can I get clear on that? And then how can I experience that in my personal as well as my formal relationships? Interesting. So it's like scaffolding. You're putting all the pieces into place so that you can reach areas you couldn't reach otherwise. Week 3, Monday to Sunday, 16th to 22nd of December. The moon's in Cancer on the 16th and 17th. That's interesting because if you feel like you've missed out on something, if there's anything where you're like, oh, I feel bad about this, or I feel insecure because I haven't had that experience. So for instance, I don't want to do my TED talk because I didn't spend 10 years at university and I don't feel secure enough. You're able to feel those things very clearly. So if there are any insecurities, they're likely to come up on the 16th or 17th, but it will also give you the message as in, this is what you can do to get rid of that and to amend it. Rather than, we all have those kind of things. We feel we're not good enough or we weren't given certain opportunities, but to carry those things around isn't particularly helpful. And the willingness to say, okay, well, I didn't attend, financial college or whatever it may be. Why not do it now? So pay attention to the opportunities that arise as a result, and rather than sit on something that you don't feel good about, embrace this willingness to change those circumstances for yourself through personal action. The 18th, 19th, and 20th then, the moon goes into Leo and it sits in your 10th house of career. So even though Mars is now retrograde in that sector, the moon being in Leo and joining Mars mitigates the influence of Mars retrograde in there. And you'll find that if a lot of time and energy needs to be spent in work or being focused on work when you'd rather be out on a date, these are the 3 days where you can get a lot done and be incredibly productive, regardless of whether Mercury is direct or not. On the 21st and 22nd then, the moon goes into Virgo, and that's in your 11th house, and it opposes Saturn and Neptune and the transiting ascendant in Pisces in your 5th. That's interesting because, again, this is an opportunity to have more solid feet under your ground as far as the way you feel about your life and whether your hopes and dreams have come true or not. That seems to be a theme here. What is it you regret and what can you let go of? What can you do in the present to feel like you have a more abundant life? And what does that mean for the future? As in, now that you've become more enriched, what does that mean? What can you then spend your time on? How does that free you up to change the focus and to give you other options in life? I personally feel that it's really good news for you as far as your romantic relationships are concerned specifically. So if you want something to change in that area of your life, particularly in a drastic way, those are the 2 days to take action and to be present so that change can occur. On the 21st as well, we have the Sun going into Capricorn. That goes into your 3rd house of communication, and it sits next to Pallas in Capricorn. Pallas I interpret as wisdom, and that's really nice because now on the 21st, your focus is really on understanding things and expressing yourself, but doing the intellectual work and saying, how can I feel more abundant within myself simply by informing myself more in a more balanced way and learning things that I'm not aware of right now. What I really like is your willingness to not just think, oh, wasn't that unfortunate, but instead you're like, no, enough of that. I'm now going to take actions so I don't have to feel that way anymore. If you're in the Northern Hemisphere, on the 21st, we've got the winter solstice. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the summer solstice. Ultimately, it's the change of seasons until the 20th of March, 2025. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we've got the least light. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, the most light. But ultimately, astrology is based on the Northern Hemisphere. So it's interesting because sometimes when you're in the dark, it gives you more time to reflect and to understand things that are painful, to navigate those dark places. And you've now got the Sun, your head, your conscious identity in that 3rd house of communication. So if there's something in your life that needs healing, that only you can heal, it's a fab opportunity to do that from the 21st onwards. So in the 3rd week, the moon goes through your 9th house and ends in the 11th house. So we're very much in the top half of your chart. So even though Mars is retrograde, it's the 3rd week that you can really make the most progress in your working life and also expect some good news as far as your personal hopes and dreams are concerned. Either something wonderful happens or you understand that I don't have to lament this area of my life anymore. I know what actions I need to take now to feel better. Week 4, Monday to Tuesday, the 23rd to 31st of December. 23rd, 24th, and 25th, the moon is in Libra, and that's in your 12th house of spirituality and spiritual strength. That's really lovely because Libra, if you look at the glyph of it, it's like a bridge with a bump on it. And the 12th house is connection to the higher realms. So 24th is Christmas Eve, 25th is Christmas Day, and Hanukkah begins at sundown. So for you, I think the festive season is kind of quite a spiritual event for you. That's really interesting because, like at Easter, we eat salmon and have little eggs that we knock together. Christmas, people get presents. I mean, obviously, if you're from a Christian kind of background. But I personally have my personal favorite is Easter. I always love the theme of rebirth and transformation. But really, most of the time, when these dates roll around, it doesn't mean as much each time, You don't have this awakening each time Christmas rolls around. But for you, Scorpio, it really is a very, very powerful time where you're connected to the higher realms. So whether you have a faith or not, or you were brought up in a specific religion or not, It's an opportunity to gain understanding around what spirituality means for you, independent of any dogma or tradition. So it really doesn't matter that it's Christmas or Hanukkah. For you, it matters that you feel massively connected and that you're able to receive spiritual guidance and support. On the 26th and 27th, we have got the moon going into your sign of Scorpio, and it's in your first house of self, and it joins Juno in Scorpio in your first house as well. So these are 2 days where you just have a sense of well-being. Everything is as it should be. But again, expect good news as far as your relationships are concerned. So the 3 days before, wonderful connection to the higher realms and spiritual relationships. The 26th and 27th, really likely that is good for your relationships with other people. Then it goes into Sagittarius and it moves back into your second house of money next to Mercury, which is now direct. So again, any new contacts you want to make, new businesses you want to set up just before the year ends here, it's a wonderful opportunity to do that, to create more movement or simply more as far as your income is concerned. Also, if you're not working, if you're retired, it's an opportunity to say, what do I want to work on that makes me feel like I'm either expressing something and that's abundance and there's more than enough? Or is there something I could pick up that would give me a sense of this is something only I can do and I do it very well and I take pride in that? Then on the 30th and 31st, the moon goes into your third house of communication again, and the transiting midheaven is there now, and so is Pallas. They're both in Capricorn. So that's a wonderful opportunity to gain even more clarity on what you need to learn in future, what you could change in your working life. But it's likely that something clicks and the penny drops when it comes to the practical actions that you can take in future based on what you know now. On the 29th of December, Chiron goes direct until the 30th of July 2025. And Chiron, again, is in Aries in your sixth house of daily routine and the structures of your life. So if you're dissatisfied with any of those, the wounded healer gives you the power and the fire and the focus to heal those wounds or to put a bandage on things so that it can heal moving forward. The new moon in Capricorn happens on the 30th, and it's the second new moon in the month, so it's a black moon. And that is the day of the month that supports you the most in saying, what work can I do to express my ideas, or how can I implement my ideas in my life? Or the realization of what can I study and learn in future so that I have an easier time of it. And then New Year's Eve, the 31st of December. Strongest houses in your chart are the third house in Capricorn and then the sixth house in Aries. So you've got fire and earth. So what do I know now that I didn't know before December? And how can I plant these seeds so that I have a more solid and enjoyable daily routine, whether that relates to work or your health or activity or money, whatever is most important to you, make those New Year's resolutions and start 2025 with a sense that you have both feet firmly planted on the ground. Nice. So it looks like a really nice month for you. I hope you have a wonderful time. If you would like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via the website. It's gregoryscott.com. In my personal readings, I use astrology and the tarot and numerology and my intuition. I combine all of them. I'm a Virgo, so I like to get a lot of information. And to draw up your natal chart, I just need your place of birth, date of birth, and time of birth. I can still draw it up without the time of birth. I can use sunrise, but having the time of birth makes it much more accurate because the ascendant is affected otherwise in the house placements quite significantly. There's a process I have called chart rectification where I can work out your time of birth. So if you'd like me to do that, that's also available on the website. Have a look. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, please. Hit subscribe for more videos and share it if you think other people may enjoy this horoscope. I also do a daily tarot reading on the channel, so if you'd like to watch those, please become a member of the channel. That would be very much appreciated. So I hope you have a wonderful December. All the best, and I'll speak to you soon.